We got this shit knocking low.
Hey, how's everybody doing? It is the Chase Carter Concept Podcast for Thursday, January 7th, 2021. And I appreciate you guys listening. I appreciate it. This podcast, I'm going to talk a little bit about the crazy riots and the criminals that stormed the Capitol building and tried to overthrow. There was one lady who got pepper sprayed. I'm going to take this as I'm not going to talk seriously about this because it is serious, but also I'm going to try to just make fun of these idiots who thought it was a revolution. And you can tell these are just people who aren't working, who are bored, have nothing to do. They don't find video games entertaining. They don't know what they've watched all the TV. They've been at home for months. And it's just so stupid. It's the same idiotic. Anytime you think rioting or looting is going to do anything than get you arrested is moronic. And now it's so funny because the Trump supporters were the ones saying, don't riot, don't destroy. Granted, they didn't destroy public property. They destroyed governmental property, which I don't know if that's worse or bad because they're the people paying the taxes on that property. So it's just going to come out of their pocket anyway. So it doesn't make any sense. But it's so funny seeing Trump supporters who were so against the left and when the Black Lives Matter protests became riots in a lot of instances, and just cities were burning down. And then people, and then there were, I think there was a few Democratic politicians that said protests sometimes aren't peaceful. I was like, well, then that's not a protest. That's a riot. Words actually mean something. But it's so funny seeing them like just head in their hands going, damn it. We didn't. These are isolated crazy people in our group. These people don't represent us Trump supporters at a whole. And it's like, well, that's the same thing the left were saying about the riots, the Black Lives Matter riots. It's the same thing. And you can even make an argument that they weren't Black Lives Matter riots. So it's so funny. There was some white lady that got pepper sprayed, and the reporter was talking to her. It's like, yeah, did you get pepper sprayed? She's like, I think I did. I can't see. I'm crying. This is so sad. And then he asked, why were you here? Why were you here? It's like, I had to be here. Why did you have to be here? Because it's a revolution. I was dying laughing. I'm like, if you think for 1 second that you and your group of a couple hundred people storming the Capitol building is going to do anything other than look bad on television and delay the vote a couple hours, you're an idiot. It's a revolution. By the way, this didn't make any sense. It just seems like a bunch of people who were mad at a Trump rally walked to the Capitol, and then once they got to the Capitol, they're like, well, this seems very anticlimactic. What can we do? Let's go inside. One guy yelled, yeah, it's a good idea. Was that the plan originally? I don't think so. And if you're in a group of people like that, and all of a sudden you decide to storm a government building, you deserve to be pepper sprayed, shot with a beanbag, and anything that happens to you, it's your fault if you're inside that place illegally. And I don't have any sympathy for you at all. Maybe that you were brainwashed by this mob, that everyone thought this was a good idea. These are bums, out of work, bored, bottom feeding bums How do you think how do you think you're doing anything? It's the same idiots that were rioting for quote unquote George Floyd, and George Floyd's family is saying, "Hey, don't riot. We're going to riot anyway." It's like, no, you just want the new Yeezys. You just want the new Off-Whites that are coming out, and those are the only cultural references that I know because I'm not that much into shoes. I don't get it. How can you be so dumb and uneducated on both sides? Both sides. That you think this is gonna you read the Boston Tea Party. You're like, look at those Americans. They were tired of the taxes, so they threw the tea overboard. Yay, violence. It worked. It worked. Those people were arrested. It wasn't until later that the story of that like motivated people and like, yeah, we should really do something. This is not going to do anything at all. And the fact that Trump keeps saying that it's stolen, when you went to court in multiple courts, in multiple states, and you didn't provide any actual evidence of corruption to the point where it would change the outcome of the election. Every election, there's corruption, and both sides are trying to cheat. But did it matter? Did the cheating overthrow? And we should find out, where the holes are in the voting systems, and that's fine, or potential holes in voting systems. We can do that, no problem. But did it affect this election? Did it affect it in more? And everybody's saying no, besides the people that are losing. And it's not like he's a pathetic loser hanging on by the tips of his fingers. That's what he's going to come off as. And for some reason, it's good to be headstrong and stubborn in a lot of instances and circumstances, but not all. You have to be humble at times and be like, I lost. But then he's saying he's lost and he's going to have a peaceful this doesn't make any sense. He's saying, just like a politician, Trump is now talking more like a politician than I've ever really paid attention to him, because he's saying one thing and then also in the same sentence making a statement that contradicts what he said. Well, violence is not the answer. We can't do this. But they stole the election, and this is a historical moment, and we shouldn't take this lying down. What is it? What? You're saying what are you doing? I'm not educated. I'm stupid, and I know that you shouldn't do that. There's all of these different agendas that are going on, and I don't know his agenda. And I would love to see Trump. I'm gonna love to see. Hopefully, all of this ends peacefully. Of course, it's going to. There's no way it's not going to. Our country lasted this long through worse conditions. People think, oh, this is the worst our country's ever been. It's like, we fought a civil war. You morons, calm down. It's like we've always been at odds with each other. It just we didn't have social media before, so calm down. Okay, we're all different. I can't believe how divided this country. It's always been divided, and that's what's good. If we were all pulling in the same direction, that would be scary. We need people to push against our ideas, our own ideas, even if it makes sense. You can think you're doing something correct and for the good of the people, and it could have the opposite effect years down the line. And you always need people that push against you. It's good. It's supposed to be that way. And it's going to swing. It's going to swing one way, and then it's going to swing the other way. People are going to get tired of Democrats and Republicans and all that, and then it's going to swing back towards the right and hopefully wind up somewhere in the middle. But it's so funny how these morons, and one of the guys was dressed as a barbarian. You can't take any, you want to be taken seriously. You do something technically that's historic, and you're dressed in a cosplay outfit. You will always be remembered through history as the idiot who dressed up as a barbarian. It's real strange. it would have been funny if you would have dressed up in a suit and tie, and then just blended in, and you're part of the proceedings. Nobody really knows you. You're just in a suit at a desk. Like, no, I was here before that all started. You're like, oh, okay. They're looking for people dressed in red hats and bulletproof vests. Just really, and then turning it all into a race thing. I don't, maybe because I'm white, I don't understand that. It's like, well, if those people weren't white, they would have been shot at the gates. I'm like, what? What person of color has been shot at the gates? What person? I don't understand. And as of now, 4 people died. Some lady was shot. And you know what? If you're involved in a riot and taking over a government building or someone's private building and they shoot you, good. You don't deserve to die. You don't deserve it. I'm not saying that. But your actions have consequences. This is not fairy tale land. You don't get a do-over. You don't get to reload your save. I don't understand. It's a tragedy. Now, if you're peacefully protesting, you get a permit to protest, and you're walking down the street, and you're doing everything legally, and then you get attacked, that's obviously wrong. No one's disputing that. But when you're rioting, destroying property, public or private, you should be put in jail. And if you get shot, if a stray bullet happens, if you have confrontations and it escalates and you get shot, that's your fault. Just how when certain people get arrested, when anybody gets arrested and they're on drugs or what have you, whatever elements you want to put in their bodies, and it escalates to them dying, it's partially their fault. You made your life decisions. You made those choices. You're a criminal. You're driving under the influence, sitting in a car. And then the police arrest you, and then you fight the police off, and it ends up you die. Partially that's your fault. It's the same thing. You want to do illegal activities, and then that circumstance escalates to where shit happens. You know who doesn't get shot? People who obey the law, usually. And then in those circumstances where that happens, then you should go to court. Then there should be an uprising. Then there should be, protests in the streets. He's like, hey, was that guy living a good... No, he was a criminal, actually. He was on his second strike. He raped somebody. And then he was going to get into his car with his kids and start a police chase that could have possibly killed dozens of people. But we're going to be upset about that. But like, what about this one innocent guy? No, we don't care about that guy. That guy doesn't fit our agenda. What are we doing here? Oh, it's comical watching both sides argue the same point. It's like, do you guys not understand? It's like, well, yeah, the riots were bad, but you can understand their anger. And then it's like, did you just justify a riot? No. Protest. If you want to protest, fine. And if you want to protest illegally, that's fine. But you're going to get arrested. You're going to get tear gassed, and that's fine. But to vandalize, and when you destroy someone's property, when you just start to steal things and take over things, and they said, oh, this is a coup. We're taking back the government. You're not taking back the government, you morons. What? Are you just bored? What is wrong with you? Anyways, that's 15 minutes on the Capitol being a target of domestic terrorism And I don't know if it's terrorism. I don't know if you can call it domestic terrorism. I guess you could. I'd have to look up the definition of domestic terrorism. But it's real weird. It's real weird. People think that they could riot. And there's like, oh, we started out as a protest, so we're protesters. It's like, no, you're right. You're morons. And I don't understand the group consciousness, like the consciousness of a group where things start out as, hey, we're going to go here, we're going to march, we're going to, we're going to chant, let's all be peaceful. Like that's what it starts out as. And everybody, don't do anything stupid. Don't incite violence. Don't do anything illegal. And then when they get there, 2 or 3 people start, I don't know how, I don't understand how it works. I don't want to be in a group. I don't like big groups anyway. There's hardly anything that would get me to go march in a group, to be around people. Hardly anything. And I think I'm most of America. Most of America is sitting at home watching these losers march on the Capitol and go, what? Why are you upset? You clearly lost the election. You clearly lost. It's done. It's been over. Have some respect for yourself and your family. Nobody likes a sore loser. And especially, and some of the biggest whiners are Democrats. They're both whiners. You lost. Take your medicine and come back next time. That's how you react. You're like, yeah, we lost this one. Oh, we'll see you in 4 years, though. We're going to start planning now for the election. Now, you're running the country. You're busy. You can't concentrate on. We got you in 4 years. Have that kind of attitude. If Trump just came out and said, yeah, we lost the election, there's going to be a peaceful transference of power. We feel there's some shady stuff going on in the election, but it probably wasn't enough. I'm pretty sure it wasn't enough. It for sure wasn't enough to affect the outcome of the election. He's like, but in all he had to say, but in 2024, we're gonna come back with a vengeance. Can you imagine the applause he would get? The roar of support from his fan base? And in that way, it's like, instead of destroying this election, doubting that this was rigged or not, you would have all of your followers focused on one point 4 years from now. Like, it's over. You're leaving. Right? He has to. How can I think of a better idea, something smarter, than someone who ran for the presidential election and won? I don't get it. I don't understand. Maybe I should shut up because I don't understand. Maybe that's one of them. Another thing that upset me. This upset me more than seeing the Capitol being taken over by a bunch of white losers. First of all, white people. You can hold hippies in fucking Seattle can hold Chaz for a few weeks or a month or whatever the fuck it was. But you can only hold the Capitol for an hour or two? What? Huh? Get better organized. What is wrong with you? The white liberals held city blocks longer than you held a building. Okay? And they did it, and they're mostly anti-gun. Which is weird. My screensaver keeps popping up. I'm going to fix that. I'm going to fix it now. You should be ashamed of yourself. Screensaver. It goes on way too quickly. It's click, 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 click. Apply. There we go. Sorry if you heard all those clicks and the clacks. It's terrible. But anyway, I watched the first hour of Wonder Woman with my girlfriend. I didn't want to watch it, mainly because I knew it was going to be bad. Now, spoilers for Wonder Woman 84. The first hour, at least. I will come back later next week with the second hour. The movie starts out with Wonder Woman, the Olympic Games. They don't they're playing this game where they it's like kind of like a triathlon. They're shooting arrows on horseback. They're running in an obstacle course. They have to jump through hoops. They have to swim. They get on horseback, and it basically explains how the Amazonian women were so good at keeping the cube away from the villain in the first movie, and so, or in Justice League, because they were working together as a team. They were throwing it from woman to woman on horseback and just really in sync. And people were like, "What the hell?" But then they turned it into a game in this one. That's what it seems like. Granted, I watched the first Wonder Woman one time, and that was enough. And the Justice League, and that was enough one time. Nothing. I don't understand how you can have this rich history of great comic books, and then you can't write. It's like they're cursed. It's like DC is cursed. I don't understand. You have Superman. You write a movie where Superman can't save his father from a tornado, and his father dies. When he's faster than a speeding bullet, people they can't see you. They couldn't see you if you went and grabbed him and then brought him back. People wouldn't see. Like, no, people they're gonna tell. That's not how Superman works. He's faster than our eyes can see, especially at that distance. So all it would seem in the commotion was like, wow, I thought Jonathan Kent was in the tornado, but apparently he's not. He's right next to Clark. Okay, that's where he was. I thought I saw something, but I like, what? Like, people are gonna see him. It's like Clark is gonna walk over there real slow. Hey, everybody, I'm gonna save my dad. This tornado doesn't hurt me. So that means I'm an alien from another planet, and you should suspect me for doing some weird shit. Okay, hey, Dad, who's not really my dad, who found me in a fucking cornfield. I'm going to pick you up now. I'm going to save your life. He's not doing all of that. Anyways, it was the corniest thing in the world. It shows a young Wonder Woman competing against these adult or like 20-something-year-old young women, teenage women, in this triathlon thing, okay? And then so she ends up she wants to win real bad. The whole thing is she has to be honest because she took a shortcut to win, but even she didn't take a shortcut. She got knocked off her horse, and she lost her bow. And her horse. Okay, so it shows her running, doing all these flips, right? Jumping through these little tiny holes, doing all this. Somebody watched a lot of parkour YouTube videos, and I believe this was written by women and directed by women. And oh God, you guys need some better writers and directors, at least for the first hour. Maybe the second hour it picks up. But you have this iconic, all-powerful character in Wonder Woman, and she comes off so corny and so bad. I don't understand. Now, I would watch Gal Gadot. Like, there was a scene where she's drinking wine. I would watch her drink wine for an hour and be more entertained than what I saw in the first part of this movie. So, young Wonder Woman, flipping, outperforming women twice her age in this Amazonian Olympic event. Okay? She's running through, she's on horseback, she's firing arrows through these little marking things, which which tells everybody the process. They're all in an arena. So the thing starts in an arena, and then the contestants leave the arena and go run on the beach and swim miles away from the actual event. What kind of event are you? And then everybody is watching in the arena, watching these flags drop. So when the contestants shoot their arrows through these little targets, cool, bright colored smoke comes up out of the apparatus, and then that signals to the people in the arena who's where, like who's coming in first, second, or third. This is how dumb, or how they don't understand. It's like it's like if football, if the player ran out of the end zone, but that's not where he scored. He had to run out the locker room, out the entrance, down the street, go to a subway, go in a subway, get in a subway car, travel to wherever the fuck he's going to go, get out and go do something not in the arena. So you have women, and I'm ripping apart women this whole time, and it's so dumb. They think a sporting event would be better if it took place outside of the arena. This is why women will never have their own sport, and it will never be watched. It was hilarious to watch this. So what we're going to do, we're going to get everybody in the Amazonian jungle, right? We're going to the best of the best people. We're going to have this event where only 20% of the event takes place in the arena that we gathered everybody. Then let's just let everybody watch it from home on TV. Then it doesn't matter. Why show up to an event that you can't watch there? Doesn't make any sense. Okay. So that's the first problem. And I bet they had no men on set to even question this. They're like, hey, we're having this event that doesn't take place in the arena that nobody at the actual arena can watch. It's like, yeah, we're going to have that. But that doesn't make any sense, though, because then why would they go to the arena to watch an event that doesn't take place at the arena? So young Wonder Woman's flipping around. She's on horseback. She gets knocked up. She's looking behind her. She's basking in she's in first by a good amount, and she's enjoying herself. She's like, yeah, I'm kicking these girls' asses. So in a moment of ego, I guess you can say, I can't think of the right word because I'm dumb and I can't think of it. She looks behind her, and this woman gets knocked off her horse by a little branch. She doesn't get run. She's a damn superhuman. She would run right through the branch. This branch was not a big branch. It was it was a medium to small branch. Gets knocked off. Okay, all of a sudden she becomes a 12-year-old kid and gets knocked. She was flipping in the air. She dropped from 20 stories, landed on the ground. That's all fine. But this branch is really going to take her out. So she gets knocked off by a branch. Again, terrible writing. And I want to see I'm all over the place. Wonder Woman 1984 writer. Let's see who wrote this. Wonder Woman. Oh, that's terrible. Screenwriters. 2 men and a woman. Patty Jenkins, Jeff Johns, and Dave Callahan. No excuse, guys. Wonder Woman Americans 19. The film is directed by Patty Jenkins from a script she wrote with Jeff Johns and Dave Callahan, based on a story by Johns and Jenkins. Oh, terrible. Oh, it's so sad. Maybe it's everybody's fault. Maybe it's not just women, But none of it made any sense. They should all be fired and not work on a big superhero movie again. So she completely defeats the whole point of this. But the woman directed it. And that's my point. I'm going to stick to that. And so my point kind of makes sense. But these fucking people, and I'm not even a huge fan of Wonder Woman, but the corniness and just the title screens were bad. Just opening it up. But anyway, I wanted to like this movie so bad. Maybe I will. So the little girl gets knocked off the horse. and the horse keeps going down the pathway. She can do all of these things, but she can't whistle to call back a horse. I can whistle in Red Dead Redemption and Assassin's Creed. My horse comes right back, picks me up, and I go on my merry way. Apparently, she can't do that. She has all these superpowers, but can't whistle. And I can't whistle that much either. But she's a superhero. She should be able to whistle or have some kind of ha 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 call to bring the horse back. So she gets knocked off. She sees this water runoff. The horse is going downhill and it circles back around and it intersects with this aqueduct runoff. So this little kid sits on her ass and she slides down. Little Wonder Woman slides down, but she misses one of the arrow targets to shoot up the smoke. Okay, and then Little Wonder Woman, not so wonderful woman. She ends up at the end of the event where they have to throw this spear through a circle, a ring, and she's about to, and then one of the Amazonian her like commanders, one of her I can't think of the right word, people who are helping her through all of this, mentors anyway. She stops Little Wonder Woman. It's like, no, you don't deserve it. You cheated. You took a shortcut. That bitch didn't even see what happened. She didn't even see her get knocked off the horse. All she knew is she didn't shoot the arrow through the little target. That's all she knew. She didn't know what happened. And by the way, they didn't tell them the rules or us. So who knows? Like, do you have to shoot the little arrow things, or is that just a way for the audience back in the stadium to know what's going on? Is that part of the game? They don't know. Now, one line could have fixed it. It's like, hey, Diana, just make sure you shoot all the targets. Remember last time you missed one and you ended up losing. Have a sentence. The movie's 2.5 hours. Put that sentence in the movie so we understand, hey, if she doesn't shoot the targets, then it disqualifies her. Terrible. Anyway, so she has an issue. Little Wonder Woman has an issue of that. And he's like, no, you have to be honest. You have to be, what was it? Don't take any shortcuts in life kind of stuff. And then it flash forwards to, what was it? Wonder Woman in a mall. And so, there's a car being driven fast by some assholes, and then they were gonna. Then it flashes forwards to 1984. So Wonder Woman's an adult now. It doesn't show Wonder Woman; it just shows 1984 society and rollerblades and all this other stuff. There's an out of control car gonna hit somebody, and then you see Wonder Woman's foot kick the car. The car spins out, ends up in the middle of an intersection. Nobody hurt. Then it shows some kids, I believe, running through this wedding picture of a couple on a bridge. It hits the woman, it hits the bride, and the bride falls off the bridge, headed towards the water. Then Wonder Woman's lasso catches a woman and puts her, safely on the ground so she doesn't get wet. And I'm like, is Wonder Woman really saving just these random people? She saved Earth from an apocalyptic event in her first movie, and in Justice League, same thing. She fought this fucking badass chick fought Superman hand to hand and didn't die instantly. And now she's saving brides from getting wet in a river. This is how you're going to open up her to me. This is how you're going to open up. And then there's a jewelry heist, but not really a jewelry heist from in the mall. The jewelry store is a front for some illegal black market antique things. So then the criminals get the bags and in like this comical way get caught. This criminal drops a gun. A random person sees it, just yells out, "Oh my God, a gun!" And everybody freaks out. The gun was not fired. The guy picks the gun up, puts it back in his pants, and then everybody in the mall knows who those two people are, and the two prior people who handed them the bags. They're all gotten. They're not dressed similar at all. I was like, those people would be lost in a crowd in a heartbeat. There's no. And then one of the criminals, everyone is surrounding these, but not really surrounding. Like they could still just run through these people. The police didn't. There weren't. The mall security is calling. It's like, we need actual police officers here at the mall. There's something going on. Blah blah blah. The real cops aren't even there yet. But somehow this group of people, like, they're all, that's the guy. And then the guy grabs a child. He's on the 3rd floor of the mall, and then holds the child over the edge. Like, that's gonna matter. I was like, you're gonna drop the kid, dude. And now everyone really knows who you are, and they're gonna beat you to death. How is this gonna help you get out of this situation? And then all the 3 other criminals are like, what are you doing, dude? This guy has a freak out moment. That doesn't make any sense. Just like the rest of the movie doesn't make any sense for some reason. I don't understand what they were thinking when they were writing this down on the page and redrafts. And they just thought, hey, this is a great idea. This makes perfect sense. We need to have Wonder Woman. It's like we have to have Wonder Woman help a child. Oh, how can that? The easiest way to do that. Well, they're these robbers. They get caught, and then the robber grabs a child and holds the said child over a railing for some reason. Doesn't make any sense. Just have her beat up the criminals. Real simple. So Wonder Woman takes care of these 4 people in a way that is so, she's whipping around, she's winking at children while doing this, just showing that she's so overly equipped to deal with this as to say, why are you in this mall anyway? And then so they have this thing where she's a mystery person. Nobody knows that Wonder Woman is an actual thing. She just goes around and helps people out. So they're security cameras in the mall, right? She takes off her crown, throws it, boomerangs it, knocks the cameras out, and then puts her crown back on. Like, that deals with the problem. I don't know if women know this, but if you destroy the cameras, the recordings still exist. They're tapes. They're VHS tapes in the back recording you doing that. What does destroying the cameras do? In my head, is this comical thing that women think once the camera's broken, the storage is gone. Like, that's as far as they know about it. It just shows how dumb these writers were and director. Like, yep, that takes care of it. Almost every person knows that in a burglar movie, they have to go and get the tapes. The cameras don't matter. You can spray the cameras, and then once you can spray paint over the camera lens, and then go into the view of the camera. Now they can't see you. Now it doesn't matter what happens. But she was in front of the cameras first, saving people, flying around, whipping everybody, and then destroys the cameras in the middle, and then proceeds. I'm like, what? Doesn't make it. What? And I bet people who make millions of dollars are going to look at why didn't Wonder Woman do good? Why wasn't it accepted? It's because you guys are idiots. Ground it more in realism, and just make it simple. Just make it simple and not corny. People don't want the corny, campy, unless that's what you're going for from the beginning, but that's not what it seems like. Like, you had Diana fight fucking Hades, the god of war. Or Ares. Sorry, Ares. I think it was, right? Let me go back in here and look at this. I haven't seen that movie from Wonder Woman villain. I think it was Ares from the first one. 1984, no. List of Wonder Woman enemies, no. Wonder Woman fictional character. Ares, maybe? There's a fictional supervillain appearing in the American comic book published by DC based on the Greek mythology. The same name. He is a Greek god of war. Yeah, Ares. Okay, no. What? I think Hades is something. Hades is a place, I think. I can't remember. Anyways. And I don't even know. I don't even know this. I'm an idiot talking out of my ass. But the five, just how I redid Space Jam 2. I redid it in 5 to 10 minutes and made it way better than what they're making. I could probably do the same with Wonder Woman. Probably. Oh. But anyway, so then the corny, campy mall scene happens where Wonder Woman takes these people down. And they were going after artifacts, historical artifacts. And in the movie, she's a curator. She's a scientist for a museum that deals with antiques. So just before that, have her follow the bad guys into the mall. No, it's like, oh, she could hear about this black marketplace, but not know where it is. But then also hear these criminals are going to hit this jewelry store, and just have that connection. Have her follow the criminals to that place, and then once they rob the black market antique shop in the back, then take control. But no, she's just randomly there. It's a happenstance that she's there. It's a random occurrence that she's protecting this neighborhood, and it just happens to be the same place these criminals loot an antique, black market antique shop that has a crystal that comes into play later in the movie. So there's all these priceless antiques, and then of course there's a piece that they think is completely worthless, and then in Latin it says "Make a wish." It's basically a lamp. It's a genie in a bottle lamp. That if you hold this thing and make a wish, the wish comes true. And this guy, this one curator, not even a side, he's in the movie for 10 seconds, comes up, Diana, and then the what was their name? 1984. It's Kristen Wiig's character, Barbara, I believe her name is. She is like a dorky scientist character in the movie. She's like all stumbling around. Oh, I can't even walk in heels. Ha ha ha. I'm like, oh Jesus Christ, this character again. Let me guess. She grabs the thing, becomes cool, and is the villain later. I'm pretty sure that's what it is. Oh, that's crazy. That's a crazy twist. And I don't know how they think of it. So they find this little rock, crystal item, and then this other scientist comes up and then grabs it and goes, "Oh, I wish I had a coffee." And then he gets a coffee, like jokingly. He's like, "Hey, look at that! It's crazy." Blah blah blah. And then, of course, Kristen Wiig takes it and makes a wish because her life is terrible. She's a dork. No one likes her. Blah 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 blah. I'm like, you're a smart scientist. People will like you. You'll find a nerd. You're surrounded by all of these nerds, but then all of the nerds are cool, good-looking people. It's like, what? No, you would fit in. You would fit in perfectly. That doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense at all. You're acting like all these scientists in the museum, all these people that are just models, are 10s and 11s. Like, what? Doesn't. Oh, anyways. So she makes a wish, and then Diana makes a wish also, but you don't know what it is. She kind of closes her eyes, and you're pretty sure it has something to do with her ex, which they don't explain. I believe played by Chris Pine. He went off in an airplane in the last movie and never came back, so you're assuming he's dead. So he comes back, but he comes back in a different person's body. So to everybody else, it doesn't look like Chris Pine, but to Wonder Woman, it does. And they don't explain that yet. Of course, I'm only an hour in the movie. This could all be explained. Doesn't make any sense. The bad guy, Pedro Pascal, he plays Maxwell Lord, some oil tycoon guy. He's out for wealth or whatever. He becomes he wishes to become the crystal itself. So whenever he gets people to make a wish basically on him to benefit himself. So he's this basically a snake oil salesman who gets people to invest in his oil company and what have you, and it doesn't work out. But then of course, he has someone make a wish saying that his company is plentiful and rich, and then all of the oil, all of the land he has strikes oil, and he's rich right now. So like his company's grow in the midst of growing, and then you're just sitting back, thinking this is terribly written. Why is it's Freaky Friday? Why is Chris Pine back in the movie? Why can't you just have him just back in general? Like bring him back from the dead. Because the last time we saw him was 19 what? 15? Wonder Woman movies. I wonder those old ones. Just the first Wonder Woman. New movies every week. Yeah, right. 1917 film. Yeah, Wonder Woman 2017. I can't remember. I have to watch the first one again just to rip it apart because it doesn't make any sense. Ugh, so bad, so bad. And Jeff Johns, I think, directed by Patty Jenkins. So it's the same people that wrote the first one. Ugh. Just makes me want to watch The Dark Knight again. Batman Begins, The Dark Knight, Dark Knight Rises. Oh, this is how people who properly think about movies and comic books. This is how they make movies. Okay, cool. They don't just find a hot chick and put her in a Wonder Woman costume and go, that's good. Terrible. So far, the first hour just doesn't make any sense. I'm disappointed. And I'm going to make it all my girlfriend's fault and turn it into a woman thing because I'm an asshole. So what I want to talk about now for the next 13 minutes or so, next gen Assassin's Creed reportedly releasing next year. When is that? What is that? I'm going to click on this. This is an article I just saw. A proper next-gen Assassin's Creed game on the PS5, Series X, and Xbox Series S. Just say the series. Is reportedly releasing next year. Adding to this, the new report claims that Ubisoft will use 2021 to focus on Assassin's Creed Valhalla, which will primarily bolster with 2 separate single-player expansions. That said, 2021 won't feature a new Assassin's Creed game. Good. Just every other year. Every 2 to 3 years, release an Assassin's Creed. That's what we want. Don't mess it up. 2022 reportedly will, and its development will helmed by Ubisoft Sofia, a company's Bulgarian studio. Ubisoft Sofia isn't known as one of Ubisoft's lead studios, with the bulk of its existence since it was founded in 2006 being primarily a support studio and a studio that works on handheld games. However, it served as the lead studio behind 2 Assassin's Creed games, Assassin's Creed Rogue and Assassin's Creed 3 Liberation. As reported, it comes by way of French streamer and YouTuber Jonathan, who doesn't divulge much else of consequence other than the aforementioned information. Okay, so you can just say that this guy wrote that there's going to be an Assassin's Creed game every 2 years. That's not really going out on a limb there. Well, wouldn't you say? Xbox controllers apparently still using AA batteries due to an ongoing deal with Duracell. Well, no, because you don't want the battery built in. It's just going to cause problems with it. If that battery goes out, you have to get a whole new controller. If your batteries go out in the controller now, you can just replace the batteries. Doesn't make any sense. Pirates of the Caribbean. Johnny Depp returned blocked by Disney. It's like we get it. You don't want Johnny Depp. You don't want him in the whole franchise that he started. Me as a fan who knows nothing of Johnny Depp wants him back in there. Just don't make him part of the main. He's like Beetlejuice. He's not a good main character. You don't want to see him too often. You want him to be a surprise. Same thing as the Joker in The Dark Knight. You don't want him too much in a movie, because then seeing him isn't as fun. It's not as shocking. It's real simple. Where are the collections I had? Doesn't make any sense, does it? Doesn't make any sense. I found it interesting that I saw on Fox Business News. Chinese billionaire Jack Ma, or May, suspected missing after calling for economic reform report. And then there's, he's the founder of e-commerce giant Alibaba. Is suspected missing since he has not made a public appearance in more than 2 months, according to a report from Yahoo Finance. He says, this is a quote from the guy. Today's financial system is a legacy of the industrial age. We must set up a new one for the next generation and young people. We must reform the current system. He said that and then disappeared, apparently. But now reports from the company and from the government saying that he's not gone. He hasn't disappeared, but he hasn't shown up. So I don't understand. And he didn't make it. You would think if someone said, "Hey, Chase made this statement online about how we should reform the government," and we haven't seen him since. Oh no, he's alive. He's fine. No, is there? Can he show up and talk to people? We're continuously looking for him right now. It's like that means he's not around. There's another interesting leads to archaeologists. The tomb of one of the greatest. It says squatters issued death threats to archaeologists who discover oldest city in the Americas. Squatters reportedly belonging to one family claimed site of 5,000-year-old ruins was given to them in 1970s. And this isn't even in the United States of America. Where is this? I forget where they had it. It's like down near kind of Peru. But it's these people who said during like this chaotic time in their country's history in 1970 that the government was giving them this land, and then they found a 5,000-year-old civilization there. The threats came via telephone calls and messages to various workers at the archaeological site at the height of Peru's COVID-19 pandemic. They followed reports of the police and prosecutors about the invasions of the ancient ruins of Caral, Caral. Caral? I don't know how to say that. Illegal. They called the site's lawyer and said if he continued to protect me, they would kill him along with me and bury us 5 meters below the ground. That's pretty deep. 5 meters is a lot. It's more than 6 feet. They like, you think these lazy pieces of shit are going to dig that deep? I don't think so. Then they killed their dog, our dog, as a warning. They poisoned her as if to say, "Look at what will happen to you." It's not the first time. The person's name is Shady. Let me see. Legal squad. Blah blah blah. Death threats. Her name is Ruth Shady, a celebrated Peruvian archaeologist. I'm having a hard time saying that word. Archaeologist. So the first time Shady has been threatened or attacked in 2003. She's always in the hot water. She was shot in the chest during an assault on the 226 hectare, 1,500 acres. Just say 1,500 acres. What are hectares? Is that like meters and inches? A 1,500 acre archaeological complex, which was declared UNESCO World Heritage Site in 2009. So this lady is finding all these cool archaeological finds and then being murdered by the people who live there currently. After 9 invasions of the sacred city during the pandemic period, Shady and her team reportedly asked authorities to intervene. There is a feeling that there is no authority dedicated to protection and defense of our heritage. It's a huge worry. So these fucking bums are stopping these people, their culture, from just being preserved. So, but I wonder if that's the government's way of taking the land from these people. I'd have to know more about it. I'd have to know more about it. There's also something else I wanted to talk about. I can't remember what it was. Not too sure. I'm not too sure. I want to see. I thought there was an IGN article I wanted to talk about. A little video games. No, nothing. All right. Well, that's the podcast, ladies and gentlemen. If you listen this far, I'm impressed because I blabbled for 20 minutes about the Capitol being overtaken, and then I talked about 30 minutes about how disappointed I am in the first hour of Wonder Woman. I'm watching Rick and Morty. That's a good show. I'm on season 2 of Rick and Morty. That's some of the best writing by far. Really good show. And then I can't remember. There was some other thing I was going to talk about. Basketball, no. The social justice stuff, I'm for. Even though I don't like it in my sports. Like, you can talk about whatever you want to. Obviously. And you should. Like, I don't even care what you're for. Like, you can talk about it. I don't like how people are demonized for their beliefs or their stands on things. Can't remember. Well, that's the podcast, everybody, for January 7th, 2021. Hope you guys liked it. Thanks for listening. I appreciate it. I'm still trying to get better. I'm 35 episodes in, and just trying to learn how to talk for an hour, get my point across in a hopefully entertaining way. And didn't have any girlfriend stories this week because my girlfriend was gone. She came back and she didn't like how dirty the apartment was. And so she claimed that. She didn't like how she vacuumed. And I'm like, I can't vacuum your cat's hair up. I can't. I start sneezing. And I was sick. Wasn't feeling well. Granted, I was only sick for 3 days. No, I was fine. But I was sick, damn it. And I haven't been sick in a long time. And I'm going to use it as an excuse. I can't come back. She can't come back to a clean house, and then she doesn't see all the work I did. You know, you don't take out the trash before your girl gets home. You wait till right when she gets home, then you take out the trash, so she sees the work you do. So she sees it. Otherwise, the place just got magically cleaned. Like when I appreciate it if I came home and like the whole place was spick and span, I wouldn't appreciate it as much as if I saw her do it. If I saw her get on her little hands and knees and she scrubs the floor with her hands like she's from 1935. It's like we have a device. Oh, we have a mop. We can get a mop for that. But no, you want to do it with your hand? Okay, that's fine. Do what you want to do. I'm going to go probably for a little run here. I tweaked my back. Tweaked my back. It's kind of bugging me. Left side, left mid back, left of the spinal cord. But yeah, so thanks again for listening to the podcast. I appreciate it. And we will, I will release one next week. You guys have a good one and take it easy. Easy on you.
You got this shit knocking, bro.